Hello, dear listeners. Today you will learn how to talk about money in English. We will show you clear and safe ways. I will give many examples. We will learn the key sentences and words. This way, everyone learns step by step.
That sounds good. Many learners do not know how to talk about money.
That is normal. Money is very personal for many people. Many are afraid to say something wrong. So we must talk about it. We also need the right words.
Why did you choose this topic for today?
Because money affects everyone. Every person needs money in daily life. We need money for rent, food, bills, and many other things. Whether you work, study, or learn a trade, we all deal with money. If you can talk about money in English, you feel safer each day. You must talk about money, for example, in the grocery store, at the bank, or at work. That is why the right words are very important.
That is true. Without the words, you often feel unsure.
Exactly. English also has many helpful and important money phrases that you can learn fast. And now a question for you. What do you like to spend your money on? Please write it in the comments.
Do you prefer to buy food, clothes, or tech? Or do you save your money?
You can write, I save money every month. Or, I spend my money on food.
Or you can write, I have little money right now. Or, I am trying to save money.
If you do not earn your own money, write, I am still in school. Or, I get money from my parents.
Write one sentence about yourself in the comments. Practice writing. This way you feel safer when you talk about money. I still remember my first months living on my own. I had little money and had to plan very carefully.
Oh, please tell us more. Our listeners surely know that situation too.
I had to watch my money closely. I wrote everything down and learned how much I spent on rent, food, and other things. I learned new words like rent, bill, and budget. At home, I repeated these words.
Very good example. Many people have the same situations. We want to make these moments easier today.
Which topics will you cover first?
Our plan has 4 parts. First, we talk about money in daily life and the keywords. Next, we talk about income and expenses, so how you earn and spend money. Then we talk about saving and about retirement. If you do not know, retirement is money you get when you are old and no longer work.
Okay, very interesting. But that is only 4 parts. What do we do at the end?
At the end, we talk about the hard sides of money. For example, money worries, debt, or stress because of money. These are real problems that many people in the United States have. We also discuss how to handle money better each day and feel calmer.
Sounds clear. I'm ready.
Let's start with the first part. First, we learn how to say what your job is. This is often the first sentence you need when you talk about work.
Right. Many learners ask how to say this correctly in English.
A very simple and important structure is, I work as a waiter, or I work as a salesperson. People use this form very often.
You can also say, I am a teacher by profession, or I am a mechanic by profession.
Both forms are correct and very common in English. You can use them in daily life.
Now we know how to talk about our own job, but how do we ask others about their job?
That is a very good question. There are simple and polite questions you hear often.
Which question is the most important?
The easiest question is, what do you do? You hear this question very often.
And if you want to be more polite,
then you can say, "What do you do for a living?" People use this at work or with new people.
are there other questions?
Yes. You can also ask, "What is your job?" Or, "What is your profession?"
These questions are good for talks with coworkers or new people. Often the next question is, where do you work?
Exactly. You hear this question very often. You can answer, "I work in an office," or "I work in a company." These short answers are clear and useful in daily life. If you want, you can give more information.
For example,
You can say, "I work in a restaurant downtown," or "I work in a company in New York." This helps the other person understand where you work.
after that, people often ask what you do at work.
Right. A typical question is, "What do you do at work?" You can answer simply. You can say, "I work with people," or "I work on a computer." These answers are general but very useful.
You can also be more specific.
Exactly. You can say, "I help customers," or "I sell products." These sentences fit many jobs and are very useful.
Now let's talk about working time.
Yes, this is a very important topic. A common question is, do you work full-time or part-time? You can answer, "I work full-time," or "I work part-time." You hear these words very often at work.
People also ask about work hours.
Exactly. For example, people ask, "What are your work hours?" You can say, "I work from Monday to Friday," or "I work on the weekend." You can also combine both sentences.
And sometimes they ask about the team.
Right. They ask, "Do you work alone or in a team?" You can answer, "I work in a team," or "I work alone." This question gives more details about the job.
These questions are very helpful.
Yes, they help a lot in daily life. If you practice these questions and answers, you feel safer. You can say them aloud or write them down. Step by step, you will feel confident when you talk about your job in English.
And do not fear mistakes.
Exactly. Mistakes belong to learning. Practice brings confidence. Now we start the first part. We talk about money in daily life. This topic is very important because we use money every day. And to be honest, I had some awkward moments with money when I first lived here.
Oh yes, me too. Money in daily life was very hard for me at first, mainly because I lacked the words.
Exactly. I remember my first trip to a grocery store. I wanted to pay, but I did not know how to ask correctly. The cashier said something, and I did not understand.
Was it cash or card?
Yes, exactly. She asked, "Cash or card?" I stood there and did not know what to say. That was very uncomfortable.
I know that feeling. Something similar happened to me. I had cash, but I did not understand the question and just nodded.
Yes, almost everyone knows moments like that. That is why these words are so important. Key words are money, pay, price, expensive, and cheap.
At first, I also did not know how to ask about the price.
Exactly. A very important question is, how much does this cost? You need this sentence every day in the store, the cafe, or any shop.
I used to just point at the price tag.
I did that too. But with the right words, you feel much safer. Now let's talk about cash and cards.
That was new for me as well.
Same for me. In the United States, many people pay with a card, but sometimes you need cash. Cash means bills and coins.
Exactly. Now we talk about money for housing. This topic is very important for many people.
Yes, that's true. Housing costs are often the biggest part of our expenses. One very important word is rent. Rent is the money you pay each month for your home.
I remember my first apartment well.
Me too. At first I thought rent was everything. But then I learned there are also extra costs.
That was a surprise for me.
For me as well. Extra costs are more costs. They include, for example, electricity, water, and heat. These costs come on top of the rent.
At first, I did not know why I had to pay extra money.
Exactly. Then you often get a bill. A bill is a paper or an email that shows how much money you must pay.
I felt unsure when I got my first bill.
Many people feel the same. You can say, I got a bill, or I have to pay the bill. These sentences are very important in daily life.
Now let's talk about money for food.
Yes. Food is important every day. Many people say, I spend a lot of money on food. That means you pay a lot of money for food.
At first, I spent a lot of money on food because I often ate out.
I know that well. Later I learned to say, I cook at home, that is cheaper. Cheap means something costs little money.
And expensive means something costs a lot of money.
Exactly. You hear these words very often. You can say, that is cheap, or that is expensive, or even that is too expensive for me.
I thought that for a long time, but did not say it.
Yes, many people do not dare to say it. But it is important to say it. Now we talk about saving.
Saving was really hard for me at first.
Me too. Saving means you do not spend money right away. You keep it for later, for example, for the future, or for a vacation.
I started to write down my expenses.
That is a very good method. Expenses are the money you spend. When you write down the expenses, you have a better overview.
Overview means you know exactly how much money you have.
Exactly. Overview means you know what you spend money on and how much is left. That gives safety.
Safety is very important when we talk about money.
Yes, especially when you live in a new country. When you know the key words, you have less fear and feel safer.
Language helps a lot in daily life.
Now we start the next part. We talk about income and expenses. That means we discuss how you earn and spend money.
This topic is very important because many learners feel unsure here.
Exactly. First, we explain the word income. Income is the money you receive. Most people get income through work.
For example, through salary.
Right. Salary is the money you get regularly for your work. Many people say, I get a salary every month.
My first salary was special to me.
Same for me. I still remember my first paycheck in the United States. I was proud, but also a bit surprised how fast the money was gone.
Yes, I know that. At first, you think you have a lot of money.
Exactly. But then come the expenses. Expenses are the money you spend.
For example, for rent, food, or tickets.
Right. Common sentences are, my expenses are high. Or, I have many expenses each month.
I first had to learn to understand my expenses.
Many people feel the same. One important step is to compare income and expenses. Then you see how much money you really have.
I made a list for that, and
That is a very good idea. You can say, I write down my expenses. This way you get an overview.
overview is a very important word.
Exactly. Overview means you know how much money you earn and how much you spend. That helps a lot in daily life.
What all belongs to income?
Income includes, for example, salary, a side job, or money from the government. Some people say, I have a side job.
I had a side job during college.
Exactly. A side job is a small job next to a main job or college. The money from it also counts as income.
And what belongs to expenses?
Expenses include rent, food, transport, bills, and sometimes leisure.
At first, I spent too much money on leisure.
I know that well. I often thought, that is not so expensive. But at the end of the month, the money was gone.
That was an important lesson.
Yes. That is why it is good to talk about expenses. You can say, I spend a lot of money on food, or I try to spend less money.
I also learned to say that.
Another important word is pay. For example, you pay the rent or a bill.
At first, I was afraid to pay something wrong.
That is normal. You can say, I still have to pay, or I have already paid.
These sentences are simple but important.
Exactly. Now we talk about a common phrase. At the end of the month.
You hear that often.
Yes. Many people say, at the end of the month I have little money, or at the end of the month I must save.
I know that very well.
Me too. That is why saving is important. But we will speak about that in the next part in more detail.
Income and expenses are connected.
Exactly. If expenses are higher than income, you have problems.
Then you have money worries.
Right. Money worries are worries about money. Many people know that.
I often felt stressed before.
Me too. It helped me to be honest with myself and change my expenses. Now we will talk about saving tips for daily life. Many people think saving is hard or boring. But in my own life, I found that saving is about small choices. You do not need to be rich to save. You just need to live more aware.
Yes, I feel the same. I used to think saving means you never treat yourself, but that is not true. Today, saving means I know my money and am not shocked at month's end.
Exactly. Let us start with shopping. Shopping is an area where many people spend much money without thinking. I often shopped with no plan and bought anything that looked good.
I did that too, especially when I was tired or hungry. Then I bought things I did not need and later saw I spent too much.
So a very easy tip is, do not shop when hungry and write a list first. A shopping list helps you stay focused. Since I shop with a list, I spend less money.
I do the same. I write exactly what I need. In the store, I ask myself, do I really need this? Often the answer is no.
Another important point is comparing. Many people always buy the same brand, but often cheaper products are just as good. Comparing means you check prices and decide with care.
At first, I was afraid to buy cheaper brands. I thought they were worse. But that is often not true. Today, I try new products and save money.
Now we talk about food in daily life. Food is a big topic when saving. I used to eat in restaurants a lot or order food. That was convenient but very expensive.
It was the same for me. I noticed later how much money I spent on eating out. When I started cooking at home, I saved a lot.
Cooking at home is not only cheaper, but also often healthier. Another saving tip is cooking for several days. We call that meal prep. It saves time and money.
I often cook on Sunday for several days. Then during the week, I do not ask what to eat, and I buy less food on impulse.
Now, a topic many underestimate: coffee and small expenses. A coffee on the go does not cost much. But if you buy one each day, it gets expensive.
I was shocked when I once calculated that. One coffee every day adds up to many dollars each month.
Exactly. I now bring my coffee from home often. It is a small step, but it saves a lot of money.
That was a big change for me. At first it felt strange, but now it feels normal.
Now we talk about contracts. Contracts are, for example, cell phone plans or streaming subscriptions. Many people pay for things they hardly use.
That was true for me, too. I had subscriptions I forgot.
Me too. One saving tip is check your contracts often. You can say, I cancel the contract, or I switch the provider.
That often saves more money than you think.
Another daily tip is repair instead of buying new. If something breaks, you do not need a new one right away.
I learned to fix small things myself or get them fixed.
That saves money and is good for the environment. Environment is also an important word when saving.
Saving no longer feels like sacrifice to me.
Same for me. Saving gives me a good feeling because I control my money.
And you can still treat yourself sometimes.
Exactly. Saving does not mean you never buy nice things. Saving means you choose with care.
That is a lovely thought.
To finish, a small exercise for you. Think about your daily life.
Where can you save a little money today?
Maybe while shopping, eating, or on small costs.
Write one sentence about it.
For example, I shop with a list.
Or I cook at home more often.
Step by step, saving becomes easier.
And you feel safer.
Exactly. In the next part, we talk about money problems and how to talk about them. Now we come to the last chapter. We talk about money problems in daily life. Almost everyone knows this topic, even if we do not like to discuss it.
Yes, money problems are very close to daily life. For example, at the end of the month.
Exactly. Many people say, at the end of the month I have little money, or my money does not last until the end.
I often thought that, but I did not say it.
Many people feel the same. A typical daily problem is an unexpected bill. For example, for electricity, internet, or the phone.
I remember a high electric bill. I was totally surprised.
Me too. In such moments you think, how can I pay this? That creates stress.
Stress because of money feels very heavy.
Yes. An important sentence is, I have money worries right now. Or simpler, I have little money now.
These sentences are honest and important.
Exactly. Another daily topic is debt. Debt means you must pay money back.
For example, when you pay a bill too late.
Right? Or when you borrowed money. A typical sentence is, I must pay money back.
The word debt sounds very negative.
Yes, but debt can happen. The important thing is not to look away. It helps to act early.
What do you mean?
For example, act at once when you see money is tight. You can say, I need more time to pay.
I did not dare to do that before.
Me neither. But many companies understand. You can call or send an email.
That is good to know.
Another very typical daily topic is shopping. You stand in a store and think, should I buy this or not?
I know that well.
In such moments, one simple thought helps. Do I really need this, or can I skip it?
Skip means not to buy something.
Exactly. Skip does not mean you never buy nice things. It only means you decide with care.
That helped me a lot.
Me too. Now we talk about talks with other people. Many are afraid to speak about money.
Especially with friends or family.
Yes, but sometimes it is important. You can say, I can't come today. It is too expensive for me.
That is a very honest sentence.
Exactly, or I must save right now. These sentences help in daily life.
Before, I looked for excuses.
Me too. But being honest is easier and calmer.
That takes away a lot of pressure.
Exactly. Now we talk about small steps that help each day. Small steps are, for example, taking less cash or setting a daily limit.
A daily limit is a good idea.
Yes. A daily limit means you give yourself a border. For example, today I spend only $20.
That helps to keep an overview.
Overview is again an important word. Overview means you know how much money you have.
When you have overview, you have less fear.
Exactly. Fear and money often go together. If you do not know your money, you feel unsure.
It helped me to check my bank account often.
Me too. Do not look away. Look at it. That is important.
Even if it feels uncomfortable sometimes.
Exactly. Now a very daily point. Accepting help. Many think they must do everything alone.
I thought that too.
But accepting help is not a sign of weakness. You can say, I need help with my money.
That is a brave sentence.
Yes. But it opens doors. Friends, family, or advice offices can help.
I did not know that before.
Finally, we want to tell you something important.
You are not alone.
Exactly. Money problems are part of life for many people, especially when you start life in a new country. Before we slowly finish, we want to talk with you for a moment. We are very curious how you experienced this episode.
Exactly. How did you like the podcast so far? Was the money topic helpful for you?
Today, we talked about many things. About money in daily life, about income and expenses, about saving, and about money problems.
We also shared personal experiences and spoke about situations many of you surely know.
For example, shopping, paying bills, saving each day, or stress because of money.
Now we would like to know, which parts were most helpful for you?
Was it the word explanations or the daily situations?
or maybe the personal stories.
Please write in the comments what you liked and what really helped you.
And be honest. Is there something we can explain better?
Maybe something was too fast or too hard.
Or you want even more examples?
We are also interested in the topics you want in the future.
Do you want more podcasts about money? For example, about saving, banks, or contracts?
Or do other daily topics interest you?
For example, housing, health, school, or work?
Or maybe short stories in easy English.
Please tell us which topics would help you while learning English.
We make this podcast for you. Your feedback helps us a lot.
Maybe you listen to the podcast while walking, studying, or on the way to work.
And maybe this podcast has been with you for a while.
Thank you for that.
Finally, we want to summarize what was important today.
Money is a topic that touches everyone.
And talking about money is not always easy, especially in another language.
But with simple words and sentences, it becomes easier, step by step.
Today you heard many important words and learned many typical sentences.
For example, about shopping, saving, or money problems.
If you like, listen to the episode again, or pause and repeat the sentences aloud.
That helps a lot with learning.
And do not forget, you do not need to speak perfectly.
Important is that you speak and practice.
Now we are excited to hear your opinion.
How do you like the podcast?
What can we do better?
And which topics should we cover next?
Please write your thoughts in the comments.
We read everything.
Thanks for listening and for joining in.
And see you in the next episode.
See you soon.